We're gonna go over the top 5 warm-up exercises that you can do for the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and we're gonna start right now. What's up, everybody? It's Dave Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in becoming an athletic freak, you wanna get stronger, you wanna be more explosive, you wanna be a better weightlifter, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a champion. So the sport of Olympic weightlifting is extremely difficult. There's a whole bunch of different movement patterns that we've got to master. There's a whole bunch of stress that goes on our joints. There's technical issues that go into the sport that we're trying to conquer on a daily basis. There's a lot of strength work that goes into the sport of Olympic weightlifting. And that leads us into the fact that we've got to warm up properly. We've got to make sure that our lifters, or if you're a lifter, we've got to make sure that you are warmed up as optimally as possible so that you can handle all the different stress that is revolving around the sport of weightlifting. Again, there's a ton of different factors that go into it, but we need to take a step back and say, all right, what do we even need to warm up for? Why do we need to warm up? And right off the bat, we've got to think about a joint mobilization pattern. We've got to realize that in the sport of weightlifting, we've got to have really mobile ankles. We've got to have a really mobile thoracic spine. Those two factors are pivotal for different positions that we need to hit. We've got to have very mobile lats so that our shoulders can hit different positions. We've got to be really mobile in our lower back so we can hit deep positions throughout our hips as well. So joint mobilization is a key factor behind warming up. And when we start to feel things a lot better, then we can start to hit different positions when we're actually warming up that we want to hit in the actual training session. So then when we start to trigger our mental aspect and our cognitive ability during our warm-up, now we can carry that through and we can bridge that warm-up with the actual training session. And that leads us right into those top 5 warm-ups. But it's important to keep those reasons in your back pocket for why these are the top 5 warm-ups for Olympic weightlifting. So that number 5 exercise is the overhead split squat. And what I like to do with this is have a little bit more narrow of a grip, something along the lines of a clean grip. And what that's gonna do is it's immediately gonna start to wake up your upper back. You're gonna start to feel that in your upper back and in your lats. And now we get into that split squat position. If you're a jerker and you tend to jerk with your right leg forward, I recommend doing the first split squat with your right leg back. So you put your non-dominant leg forward. And that's gonna help wake up your posterior chain on your non-dominant side. It's gonna help wake up your lower back on your non-dominant side. It's gonna help wake up your thoracic spine on that non-dominant side. And then you're gonna end up waking up and feeling that position a little bit more effectively on your dominant side. And typically what I would recommend is when you're doing an overhead split squat, you do 2 to 3 sets for 5 to 6 reps on each side. But again, do your non-dominant leg forward first. That's going to be key to warming up your hips, warming up your thoracic spine, and starting to warm up your body overall. That 4th key exercise that I love to utilize for a very good warm-up is a side band walk, okay? All of these movements that we're gonna be utilizing are movements that we can do in the gym. They're movements that we can do while we're traveling on an airplane. These are movements that we can do regularly when we're going to compete. And that's a big key factor behind good warm-ups. Good warm-ups are things that you can do all the time so that it's repeatable and it's relatable to the situation. So if we can do all these things before each training session, our body and our mind become familiar with it so that when we're competing and we're doing the exact same warm-up, we feel really good. And so side band walks are very, very simple. You can put the band just above the knee, just below the knee, and you can walk forward with those knees striving wide, or you can even walk side to side in a shuffle pattern and then go back and treat your other side. And so again, what this is going to do is it's going to wake up your glute med. It's going to wake up your posterior chain. It's going to wake your quads up quite a bit as well. And it's going to help you just get a little bit more activity. And if you do this with those split squats, now you're gonna start to feel your glutes a little bit more when you're doing those split squats. So I recommend doing side band walks for 2 to 3 sets of 7 to 9 reps on each leg. That's gonna bring us to our third key warm-up exercise, and that's gonna be the snatch press in the hole. And so if we can think about in the training session for Olympic weightlifting, typically the snatch movement is going to be your first movement that you're going to be executing. And so when you're warming up with that snatch press, we wanna establish your snatch grip. We wanna start at the top. And I recommend if you're really tight in your thoracic spine and you can't get down in the hole, do this movement standing. You can bring that down just to right below your neck, and you can do this in a standing position and drive and lock out those elbows. Now, if your mobility is excellent, you've done your side band walks, you've done your overhead split squats, your hips are warmed up, you're loose, right? Now you can go down into the hole. You can hit that bottom position. And again, what's the key factor? We have to apply tension and force through our foot. So we want to think about applying force through the front of our foot, through the mid portion of our foot, and through the heel. And that is going to be where we're trying to establish our catch position. Now, when the bar is on our shoulders and we drive that bar overhead, the bar should go directly to where it needs to be when you're catching a snatch. We want to drive up, we want to have our scaps retracted, we're hugging our spine, we're applying force into our heels, we're applying force into our toes and our midfoot, and we're feeling that tension all the way from our hands down through our thoracic spine, all the way down our lumbar spine, into our hips and into our feet, through our quads, into our feet, everything, right? We wanna feel those positions. And that's the key here with the snatch press in the hole. This movement can establish a strong snatch catch position. And if you can feel that in your warm-ups, it's going to transfer over to your training session. And so I recommend doing this for 3 sets of 5 reps. Shouldn't be too taxing, but you want to make sure that you're feeling it and you're aware of your body's position, so that as you start to loosen up and you're hitting those snatches deep in the hole, you feel mobile and you feel nice and tight. Now, coming in at that number 2 spot, we're going to be doing reciprocation point pause snatches. Okay, so if we can think of when we're pulling off the floor, we want our knees to track back. We want our shins to get vertical. As the bar comes around the knee, or what I refer to as just below the knee to just above the knee, I refer to that as no man's land. So as the bar comes around the knee through no man's land, as it gets to the top, I refer to the top of no man's land as the reciprocation point. That is the point when we see the knees flex forward while our chest is staying forward and while our heels are staying flat. That's a key technical component that everyone has to understand. Now, the reason why I really like to do this as a warm-up is that we're pulling off the floor, so we're ingraining that technical movement. We're waking up our posterior chain. We're gonna feel our hamstrings when we get our knees back. We're gonna feel our quads flex forward when we pause in that reciprocation point. And the pause is going to light up our back. If we can think about the research that Dr. Stuart McGill has done, he's shown that the lower back responds very, very well to isometric contractions. If we can wake up our lower back by pausing just above the knee at that reciprocation point, our lower back is going to be a little bit more aware. We're going to have a heightened sense of awareness at this position. We're going to pause there. 1, 2, 3, snatch. And it's nice and easy. It's not crazy. And you might do 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 4 reps, but you're pausing with a bar. If you've never done this, you will feel this in your hamstrings, your quads, and your lower back. So it's going to help loosen up your joints. It's going to help you be a little bit more mobile. It's going to help you with your technique. It's going to help you focus and zero in on what you need to do in that specific training session. And that's why I love reciprocation point pause snatches. Now, before we go into my absolute favorite warm-up of all time, if you want more information about Olympic weightlifting training, if you want to become a better Olympic weightlifter, you can click on the link down below. You can head over to garagestrength.com and you can pick up your parabolic periodization book and course so that you can learn more on how you can apply all the different variables around the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and you can apply it directly into your own training. Now coming in at that number one spot is the PVC pipe walks. And so this is one of the most challenging warm-ups that anyone can do. And I absolutely love this as a warm-up. I love this for all of my athletes, but especially for my Olympic weightlifters, because we have to remember where the force is starting. The force is starting in the foot. And if we have an active front foot, if our toes are grabbing, we want our feet to operate like our hands. If our toes are grabbing the ground and our pad on our foot is also applying pressure and our heel is acting as our thumb, now we're applying that pressure into the ground and we're grabbing the ground. We're being more active. We know that sprinters that have more active big toes and pinky toes can run faster because they can apply more force. It's the same thing in Olympic weightlifting. If we do PVC pipe walks and we think about grabbing the pipe, walking forward, grabbing the pipe, walking backward, now we're waking up our nervous system through a movement that is not stable. Now this unstable movement pattern is gonna help wake us up. It's gonna help wake our feet up. It's gonna help strengthen our feet. It's gonna lead to a greater sense of awareness. And now we're gonna take that and we're going to apply that more effectively throughout the training session. If we can think about lifters that tend to rock forward early, they get up on their toes early, they don't have strong feet. They tend to get their chest back behind the bar too early. Or lifters who tend to pull and maybe their toes even pop. They're not grabbing the floor with their toes. And so PVC pipe walks are an easy tool that you can use to fix this. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you can buy a 2 to 3 inch PVC pipe. You can cut it in half and you've got 2 pipes right there that you can utilize to warm up, to make your feet stronger and to help you feel more stable when you're pulling off the floor. So if you like this information, you can head over to garagestrength.com. You can pick up a specially designed weightlifting program to help you conquer your weightlifting goals, or you can pick up your parabolic periodization book and course. If you want more videos on Olympic weightlifting, you can click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.